I respect the livid fuck out of this kid called Izuku Midoriya, or Deku for short, as a character. There's a few reasons why this is, be it the fact he went from dead nothing to comfortably confident at the beach in a short span of a summer and then some. But more importantly, it's the fact he's always willing to put the well-being of others before his own. Deku is someone that, intentionally or not, saves people. He's the type of kid that would take a bullet for you. He just would. He just would. He's like the anti-school shooter. And it's this trait that his own role model, All Might, takes into consideration before finally deciding that, yeah, this kid is legit as fuck, and that he wants to see him grow A, healthy, and B, strong. Like, super fucking strong. Now, it's this passion of saving others that makes a monumental change in the perspective to both Deku and Todoroki in their one-on-one match within the sports festival arc. Both of them are taught a lesson that surges them forward in terms of character development and corrects cognition of their own quirks as, well, their own. But before we can talk about that, I want to sit everyone down and emphasize why it's not just a massive change in Todoroki, but also a change in Deku. So let's grab a seat, cause I am gonna be here fucking forever. It's All Might's attention that grants Deku the ability to become a superpower in the world of Boku no Hero. At one of Deku's arguably lowest points, he's coming to terms that without a quirk, he may very well be powerless, with the possibility of falling behind his new classmates over at Hero Academy. He understands he doesn't have the birth-given talent to accomplish what he wants to, and that even if he's got the smarts to do the job, he doesn't have the strength. The boy lived his entire life void of a quirk, something that in this world defines most people. Imagine Deku's struggle for yourself, wanting something so incredibly bad only to have it snatched away from you by something you have absolutely no control over. It becomes something unattainable to solely you. But it's through his own actions, despite all of this, that Deku proves himself to All Might and is bestowed the quirk All for One. And that shit doesn't work, let me tell you. Deku aims for the top, and now has the newfound potential to do so, combined with his already established heroic traits as stated by his own fucking role model. But it's here that Deku faces an itty-bitty dilemma. All for One has some serious stopping power. That's unquestionable. The issue with that stopping power is that Deku cannot handle it. It takes a devastating toll on his body. Upon activation, his bones are shattered if he's not extremely careful with it, and his life would be in jeopardy during a real-world situation against a villain were he to use it. He understands the potential of All for One. The man he sought to be for his childhood is a living, breathing example of it. But he also understands that he himself is unable to take it to that potential. And that plants seeds of doubt in Deku, that this quirk, All for One, will never truly be his. He tries to cope against this. In his fight against Bakugo, Deku purposefully refrains from using All for One, and it's out of this feeling of inferiority that Deku attempts to prove to himself that he can achieve victory with his own hands. Deku absolutely recognizes Bakugo's strength, and when they finally face off, it's a chance for Deku to prove not only to Bakugo, but to himself that he's worth more than he previously believed. He attempts shutting Bakugo down with his own methods. And for a tiny bit, that judo shit works! My boy Deku's tearing Bakugo a new asshole, he's kicking ass! And then he's suddenly backed into a corner where he ultimately fails. This fight is the catalyst of Deku realizing what his wish, to be the #1 hero, truly means. To accomplish it, he needs to eventually surpass Bakugo one-on-one, but by relying on All for One to win, he can't be comfortable in his victory. Now here's the important part. Even despite Deku's inability to fully accept All for One as his own and take it to its limits, he understands the importance of giving it everything he has. Everything he's capable of. Even if it's not a right fit for Deku, he knows that by not going to his own limits, he'd be making a mockery of each and every single one of his peers, who are all trying to achieve their own goals. And it's that drive alone that makes All for One, in that moment, Deku's. Not the idea that it's an inherited power given to him, but the fact that Deku is undeniably trying his hardest to reach his dreams. He doesn't want to achieve his goal half-assed, and for Todoroki, someone who is born with one of the strongest quirks in Class A, to show he's not taking his own dreams seriously by being so hung up on his fatherly grudge, that's a problem. To refuse to fight with his entire being is the same as ignoring all the efforts of his classmates. And that shit isn't something my boy Deku can accept. Everyone here is trying to achieve something in their desperation. But Todoroki here, he just hates his father's guts. Totally understandable. Like, fuck that guy. But not what he should be focusing on. Now we can see why the fact that it's Deku teaching Todoroki works out perfectly for the two of them. Deku absolutely can't use all of All For One's power. That much has already been established. But he's not supposed to be able to. He's our underdog. No, the whole point of Deku not being able to use All For One at its 100% is because we need to see Deku as the individual, not who the quirk is tied to. All Might. Let me repeat that. We need to see Todoroki as the individual, not who the quirk is tied to. Endevour. By showing us Deku giving an extreme amount of resolve by continuing the fight, even after he shattered most of his fingers and both his arms, we're seeing literal polar opposites being displayed by Todoroki and Deku. Deku knows that because he's never had a quirk up until lately, he's going to need to try his fucking hardest to beat absolutely anyone else in his entire class. And he's gonna do just that. So when he's up against Todoroki, Deku's smart enough to pick up on this entire Todoroki funk, and he calls Todoroki out on it, having previously bitch-whipped Todoroki right before the battle. And it's only then, once Deku has snapped Todoroki out of his unintentional narrow-sighted mindset, that Todoroki is reminded of that ubiquitous goal that he shares with Deku. He too, at some point, had his own visceral and personal desire to become a hero. And for a moment, that memory alone is enough to wipe away every daddy issue that boy has ever had.
But my dad... I hate my dad!
Fuck your dad! I'm your dad! I love you, son!
Todoroki is then forced to meet Deku with the fullest extent of his capabilities, exactly as Deku planned. And it's fucking beautiful.
Get out of there!
Deku teaching Todoroki that it's okay to go all out is significant to both of them, because originally, Deku didn't accept his quirk to be his own either. These are two characters who, while completely different in their lives, have that same hurdle that needs to be crossed. At this point in the story, Deku still might not fully believe that either. But that doesn't matter here and now. Deku is communicating that it's not Endevour's quirk, but Todoroki's own to use as he sees fit. And by accomplishing that, Deku indirectly learns the same is true for him. Deku needs to learn that All For One is something that he earned with his own two hands. There was no predetermined destiny, no special awakening. All For One belongs to and with Deku now. These two are two sides to the same coin. And that is fucking absolutely the importance of Deku versus Todoroki. Hey guys, if you like this sort of content from me, definitely let me know in your own special way. What kind of quirk would you have, big boy? And or girl? Send me hate mail, or just call Uraraka worst girl in the comments. I will find you. With that said, I hope you're sticking with me and enjoying my content. I don't know how to say bye.
All Might! We gotta respect women!
If she breathes, young Midoriya. She, I thought.
All women are queens, All Might!